puts a smile on my face and takes me to outer space. She takes me higher, now I'm losing ground. Starlight shines over you tonight, oh tonight. 'Cause in the city night, she makes me see that I see the light. 'Cause in the city night, she makes me see that I see the light. I found a perfect girl. She's from another world. She puts a smile on my face and takes me to outer space. She takes me higher, now I'm losing ground. Starlight shines over you tonight, oh tonight. 'Cause in the city night, she makes me see that I see the light. 'Cause in the city night, she makes me see that I see the light. She takes me higher, now I'm losing ground. Starlight shines over you tonight, oh tonight. 'Cause in the city night, she makes me see that I see the light. 'Cause in the city night, she makes me see that I see the light.
I heard that, Mark. everybody. Let's do a quick mic check here just to make sure that you guys can hear me okay. Can you give me a star if you guys can hear me okay, or give me a thumbs up? We really appreciate that. I don't want to be talking to myself here, so it helps to know that my audience can hear me okay. Hello, testing 1, 2, 3. Can you guys hear me okay? And this time, guys, the mic is actually on. Everything should be functioning as it is, but you never know with these live stream, okay? Excuse me. Yay! Thanks. Hey, Mark. Hey, Uma. Hi, Sandra. Hey, ML. I'm assuming that your background is in machine learning, ML. Shriyas, I think this is our first time meeting. Aridin, how are you? Hello, Juan. If we're meeting for the very first time, please do type new on the bottom, okay? And let me know where you're watching from. And when you're asking questions, do me a really big favor, guys, so that I can scan through them very quickly. Put a Q in front of the question so I know that that's a question. Also, let me know what position you're interviewing for, what team you're interviewing for, because that has a lot to do with my feedback, okay? Hey, Irfan. Hi, Rohit. Hey, Noyan. And do correct me if I'm not pronouncing your name right. Hi, Patrick, Sinan, Noyan. There's a lot of new names here. I love this. Hi, Abbas, Rina, Leonardo. How are you? Welcome back. Hi, Sweeta. Hello, Diana. Hello. Okay, if we're meeting for the very first time, my name is Holly Lee. I am a career coach. My passion is to help you land a job with FAANG company. And, honestly, guys, if you would take my coaching and my feedback with a grain of salt, you could apply my strategy with any company. Either you're in tech, not in tech, in finance, in marketing, you name it. Why am I making such statement? Because I've actually helped a lot of my clients through either my coaching program or my coaching community. They're sales folks, they're finance folks, they're engineer, they're architect, recruiters even, okay? And one thing to keep in mind is that everything that I'm sharing with you guys today is based on my personal experience, not just coming from a background working for Amazon, but for other employer as well, okay? So take it with caution, all right? I wanna dive right into the question. I have also invited a couple of folks. Very excited, guys. Where's my pause thing? Here you go. Really, really exciting. If you guys have not already, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. When you do that, the main reason why I have my music play is because I saw a bunch of people who are tuning in right now. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. Let's trick the Google algorithm together, shall we? If you leave your comment or give me a thumbs up, it will really help promote my work here, okay? Okay, let's dive right into it. What are all of your questions? I can't wait to answer all of them. I see some great behavioral questions in here. Let's start with, not top, bottom up, which means the ones who's been patiently waiting for the last 15 minutes to half an hour, you are going next, okay? And if you do want me to answer your questions right away, you can always super chat that, or you're part of my Patreon community, okay? Rena, how are you? Okay, Rena says, how do you answer the question, tell me a time when you have to deal with an underperforming employee? That's great. That's also the employee wanting to know, not really how you handle under the pressure, but how do you develop the best? How do you hold yourself, insist on higher standard? And what is your experience? I'm assuming that you are a people manager in this case. Normally, this question comes out if you're interviewing for a people manager and you have direct report, okay? Very, very rarely if you don't report, if you don't have direct report. This is a great question. It's just allowing even individual contributor to know if you see someone that is underperforming and not doing well, what did you do to help not manage the employee or the peer, but what did you do to help them make the overall improvement? there's two ways to see it, right? Rena, if you are truly a people manager, that's what I mean by you need to tell me what position you're interviewing so I can talk about relevancy right off the bat. For all of you people manager that's watching right now, and I've said this in my Patreon weekly community. I know some of you guys are in there, so bear with me. You've heard this before. It's all about what did you do as a people manager to help that person, okay? In my career, it's I take it to heart if I have to let an employee go. I truly have spent months on coaching, meeting with them on a regular basis, putting a strategy or plan together, not just to help them, guys, to help myself accountable as a people manager and help them accountable to let them know that I'm actually listening and I'm acknowledging the areas that they need improvement on, okay? So if you are a people manager, you need to ask yourself, don't use my word and what I just say, use your experiences, because if you haven't done it before, the interviewers will go really deep in asking probing questions to make sure that you can really validate what you have done, all right? Let me know if that answers your questions. And if you're an individual contributor, the best way to do is seeing someone that's falling behind. What did you do to help them? What did you do to step up? Showing your bias for action without anyone asking you, right? Even for this, tell me about time when you deal with an underperforming employee. It's perfect. Don't go to your boss and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Manager of mine, I have an underperforming Joe Schmo. What should I do? No. Amazon or not, I think as long as you work for an organization, you need to be able to show the initiative. And I'm not being rude here, guys, but the smart of diving deep and thinking big in helping your staff without asking your superior what to do. So the bottom line is figure out a solution yourself and then go ask for help should you need. All right? Hi, Sweta. How are you? Sweta says, I come from an IT background with project management experience. I have answered 3 phone screen interview for 3 different program manager roles at Amazon in the last 2 months, but couldn't track any. I'm a little bit confused with the question here. So does that mean that you have 3 phone screen with 3 different role and you didn't make it through? If you didn't make it through, I would say pause for a second and don't continue and keep on interviewing for the same role, which is program management. Let me explain myself. You could be interviewing at consumer, AWS, consumer electronic. It doesn't matter what products you're interviewing for, Amazon or not. Okay? Remember, guys, this is not just for Amazon, it's for any employer. Don't keep on re-interviewing if you haven't made it once, twice, and 3 times, okay? Let's just assume that this is my first time interviewing and I didn't make it through. A different recruiter reach out to you for the same position in a different team. Great, right? The recruiters of any company, they could see the feedback in there. So do not make the mistake of taking another interview without knowing the previous feedback or where you need to improve. I would coach you guys on challenging the recruiter to say, hey, by the way, you may have already seen my previous note. You may have not. Full transparency, I've interviewed Amazon before, 1 time or 2 times. Okay, if you can please do me a really big favor, because I really wanted to make it through the process and land my job with Amazon. If you can coach me around areas for me to be better in my phone interview, that would be great. Okay, the number 1 biggest mistake for candidates, like all of you guys who's watching right now, you need to have the courage to not push back, but to stand up to the recruiter. You need to figure a way to train your recruiter. Yes, I said train the recruiter, because a lot of the time they're so busy that they don't think about, okay, well, I'm reaching out to this person. Obviously, they can tell that you've applied for a number of different positions. They can tell by your activity in their internal system. A good recruiter wouldn't necessarily give you the feedback, but would coach you around the areas so that you could shed more light to help you pass the next phone interview. If I'm the recruiter and I'm going to reach out to you for the 3rd time, I would be sure to give you some feedback so that you won't fail, because at the end of the day is your reputation. And if you're a recruiting professional or in talent acquisition, you're listening to this, it's really important that you're setting your candidate up for success, okay? And not just to put them through the process and go through the same mistake again, all right? I'm not happy with my light here. Give me one quick second, guys. Okay, that's a little bit better. Hope that answered your question. Sweetie says, my stories were not impactful. This is the feedback I got. I do follow the star as much as I could. I've been following you very closely. I don't know how to improve further. Here's the thing, guys. The star method is great. There's two ways, right? So my customer have mentioned this to me. One, you have to have the story and the background. If you don't have the story and experience, nothing can help you get the job. And I'm being very fruitful here. A lot of you came back to watch my show every week because you like my authenticity. Okay? I'm just saying it as it is because I don't like wasting people's time. So if you know that you've got, let's just say 5 years experience and the job description sounds really relevant to the work that you're doing. So as you're creating your story, you have to ask yourself, okay, to start off, what is my biggest achievement? Give me 3. Okay, you're not going to answer all 3, but the more, the better. You need to have enough pockets of the story so that you could pick out which one is the best and then use them when the time comes, okay? If you don't know what is the most innovative thing you have done, you're not going to pass an Amazon job interview, especially an Amazon job interview, because the company really focus on diving deep to make sure that you guys can walk the talk and do the job. The biggest difference between an Amazon interview versus a Google or Facebook or anywhere else, I work for all those companies, they only hire individuals who are hungry, who can do the job. Are you productive? If you don't have an answer, no one is really looking for 100% expectation that you are going to meet the criteria for the role. But what are you going to do if you don't have the experience? Are you someone who's eager enough to go find an answer? Or are you going to really leverage your hiring manager? Because as a hiring manager, you don't want to hire someone that, you know, pings you in your office constantly, right? So I would encourage you guys to flip the table and put yourself as on a hiring manager perspective. What type of employee would you feel if you were to hire for your exact same position? Okay, the star works really well, but you need to pause before you even create your story. Think about think about your background and where in your background that's relevant to the team and the scope of Amazon. The scope meaning, if you, for example, a high level meaning if you fix a bug in the system, that's not high level. But if you fix a bug and the end result of that is helping, you know, 1 billion of users around the world and also all of the global offices have a process in place where it will automate and monitor the system before it fails, yes. That is a scope that big organizations such as Amazon is looking for, okay? So be very careful when you start working on your star stories. Don't waste your time. You have to work smart, okay? And if you guys are truly, truly stuck and struggling, that is what my weekly VIP mock interview is for. If you're interested in that, I'll leave a link here later on end of today, so you could check that out. But honestly, all of my information is on my LinkedIn. If you go to my About Me, all of my services is on there, literally every single thing, and as well as my video, okay? And if you guys are excited, I know that a lot of you, 60 of you are behind watching, and I love getting messages, LinkedIn messages from all of you guys. For the 60 plus people, give me a thumbs up. I only have 16 thumbs up, guys, okay? Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you guys are excited for me to answer all of your behavioral questions around the Amazon Leadership Principle today. Okay, I'm pumped. I'm motivated. I want to see if you guys are with me here because we're going to spend the next hour and a half together, and I want to make sure that you're getting the best of your time here with me, okay? Thanks for coming back, Leonardo. Carolina, hello from Spain. How are you? By the way, all of you guys from Europe, I have you in mind, my international audience. I am doing a second stream, which is every Friday at 8:30 a.m. I'm going to push that to 8 a.m., okay? That way you're not being here and it is, 11 p.m. your time or so, okay? So check that out as a second option for you as well. Carolina says, I'm a Gran Canaria for vacation, 7 really lovely island with great climate. I'm very jealous to hear that right now, especially during the pandemic. Hello, Patrick. Hi, Norian. Well, the good vibe probably come from a number of coffee that I've had prior to the stream. Hey, Amit. Hey, Shinim. Shinim says, tell me about time you made a hard decision to sacrifice short-term gain for something that would create long-term value. By the way, guys, as I'm answering these questions, just take it as a grain of salt. I'm answering very generic for a reason, because if you want to work with me and if you want to pass the Amazon job interview, I'll give you and show you everything that I know what works. But without looking at your credential, without having any kind of conversation with you, I can't tell you exactly what to say. And I don't want you to sound like me. I want you to sound like you. Okay? With that in mind, you have to think about a decisions where it may not make sense right now, but it will be it will be long term with an added value. So you have to think of, and again, you have to tell me what position you're interviewing for, so that I'm not wasting everyone's time that's also listening, because I want my answer to be generic to all the different role, but specifically for the role that you're interviewing with. Okay. For me, if I have to give you guys an example where I make short-term decision for long-term gain, is when I have to hire, and I have a recruiting background. I've been a recruiting leader for 8 years prior to having my own career as a coach for the last year. So the decisions that I made, even right now, this is a perfect example, is I've decided to take my corporate hat off. I've decided to invest so much of my energy coming on live like this, helping so many people landing a job. In average now, there's at least 15 of you who just watch my YouTube videos alone and land a job offer, aside from my community, which at least five to 8 every single week. You guys do the math, okay? That is my short-term goal right now. I'm not even focusing on generating revenue. You can see, right? Everything that I'm doing coming on live, it's practically free. But the long-term value here is you're going to go and tell your friends and people that you know to support my work and my channel. You know, and now you have a chase through my webinar exactly what you're getting yourself into. And you know that as you're thinking about choosing the right career coach for you, it's about connection and it's about the coaching style and what has worked for you, okay? For me, that is an example of how I'm taking something short-term right now. I can't do what I'm doing right now because it doesn't scale, but it is because I'm trying to attract the right audience. And with the right audience, I could start building programs and services around all of you guys so that you can land a job a lot quicker. Okay. So whatever position that you guys are in right now, you have to think of a very smart approach. Think of a time, not right now, currently, but think of a time where you're really proud of making a decision where people may not agree with you. By the way, guys, I have coaches too. I have a number of different coaches, okay? They didn't agree with me. A lot of my coaches thought I was crazy by doing what I'm doing and the amount of hours that I've invested, especially with my Patreon community, and they know I'm in there practically 7 days a week by the hour, okay? I'm doing it because you have to show engagement. You have to show your knowledge right off the bat. So what exactly have you guys done that are so valuable to your customer, either your internal customer or your external customer, that you now get their attention, okay? What is the long-term goal that you have with that short decision? So that is the way how I would frame that. Okay, give me a thumbs up. Let me know if that makes sense for you, Shinan. Amit says, questions around frugality. Here at Amazon, we are frugal. How will you manage projects with no budget and resources? That's really, really true. And again, this is not just Amazon. It could be any employee, right? You have to have an experience of, you don't have to execute a project. It could be a process you put in place, because not everyone come from a big company. I get that. And I get a lot of questions about, I came from startup, I don't know what large scale means. Large scale for startup doesn't mean it's large scale for like an Amazon. What should I do? Similar scenario as well. You have to think of a time where you have no money, no budget, even in mid-size, even at Amazon, okay? Let me tell you guys a story. And this is my example. When I started early on in my career with the Kindle organization, it's called Labs 126. I hard that org. I love it. We're a family there. We absolutely have no budget, no money, no funding whatsoever. I've never traveled anywhere outside of my local office, which is in Silicon Valley, Cupertino to be exact at the time. And my goal was to hire a bunch of hardware display engineer and principal architect around the world and talk them into relocating to the highest, most expensive place in the world, Silicon Valley. Because we didn't have a budget for me to close my candidate or do recruiting events or any special PR and networking, it was hard. The Frugality example here is that I actually leverage the family or friends that I have in Boston. This is true story, guys. I basically call up a family member and I say, hey, I have to fly. I have to take a red eye down there. I have to close this offer because if I don't hire this engineer for my director, we are not going to launch the next Paperwhite and I need him to accept my offer. So I booked the flight. I flew out there. I didn't even have a budget approval from my manager at the time. I went out there. I took him to dinner. I took his wife to dinner and I flew back. First flight in the morning, and I was so excited to tell my director that he's probably going to accept the offer. Okay, so that's a true story. That's a pure example of frugality. What did you do to make yourself stand out from all the other answer? Okay, if you don't have any money at all, who could you leverage? You don't have to go to the extent of flying to close an offer like me. You don't have to fly anywhere. But what do you do to gain the material or the data for free? Who did you leverage? Who did you go to? I can give you guys so many examples. That's just probably my career highlight right there. Because since then, the director, who is still with Amazon, and I became really trusted partner even today. Okay? So you have to think about a time like that. You don't need to fly anywhere. But, in similarity, what have you done that made you stood out where you're not spending the money that you don't have? Hey, Kassan Sassy, how are you? Kassan Sassy said, tell me a time when you succeeded a goal. I mean, I'm asking you this. Tell me a time when you succeeded a goal. Or I could ask you, what's the one project that you're most proud of? Okay? I can't tell you what to say, again, without knowing anything about your background. But if you're struggling to answer that questions, I would say you need to really prep before your interview with Amazon. Okay? If you guys are all struggling of answering, give me an example where you have exceeded your goal, or give me an example of the highest accomplishment you have done. Even if you don't know if that is within the scope or high level, you should have at least a couple examples. Okay? If you don't, you need to pause and work backward with your employment history, preferably the last 5 years or so. Don't go too back and think about those times. Okay? That is the best advice I can give you. And even if I give you my answer, it won't be relevant to your situation right now. Hey, Johnson. You're doing awesome. Love your playlist. Thank you. Music sets the right tone. Mark, my friend, if I can dance, I would have already show off my dance move, but I can't move for the life of me. Maybe if I have some super chat, I would start moving next time. No, I still can't. Hey, ML. ML says, the recruiter today told me about the leadership principle that will be asked by each Loop member in the interview in 2 weeks. Should I trust her? Well, it's not about trusting her. You're interviewing at Amazon. You need to know the leadership principle. You don't have to master in it, but you need to know the 14 leadership principle, because as you guys are creating your star answer or any kind of answer, you have to do it around the leadership principle, okay? You have to do it in a sense where if you have a good answer, it should meet 80% of the leadership principle. It's going to take me an hour just to explain that part here. Okay, if you're interested to dive deep or learn more, I'm actually doing a webinar actually tomorrow. You should check that out. It's also free. The webinar link is on my LinkedIn post as well as on my business site. It's halsey.com. If you subscribe or follow my business site, and again, the link is all over the place, okay? you can see the events that's coming up, and I have a bunch of stuff coming up for you guys. The first one is free. It's a webinar to teach you how to use the Amazon Star interview in creating your story. Okay? I've been working my tail off last weekend to create a presentation to share with you guys. I need you to show up with your questions, and more importantly, just pay attention to the presentation. It's very different from this, where I'm actually showing you why it's important, what is it important, and why is it that my coaching community, with the volume, I would say 95 of them actually land a job offer. And these are every single person that we have, or I have reviewed their star stories and work with them around that. I'm going to share all of that with you guys, and I want you to take that and create your own. Okay? The second thing is this Sunday, I'm also running a one-time only, because I don't have the bandwidth, coaching. Again, that's also on my YouTube link as well as my business site. If you guys are interested to leverage my help, I'm making it so easy for you guys to find me on top of all of my content on YouTube. Okay? So, rather than asking me similar questions, the same questions every week, I want you guys to also start taking action, okay? You got to ask yourself, talking about frugality, right? I just mentioned it is free. It is free. You have a career coach that is with Amazon for 6 years who put a deck together for you. All you need to do is show up. There's no excuses, guys. And by the way, the seat is limited. I haven't checked what the volume is yet, but it is first come, first serve. Through via Zoom, okay? It won't be on YouTube. ML says, there will only be behavioral question-based LP for marketing analytics role, no technical questions. Do you think this is normal? Well, normal or not, if you're interviewing for Amazon, majority of your questions is going to be behavioral-based, okay? Behavioral-based is really important because the environment is so extremely fast-paced. The employer wanted to know how well you can handle under pressure. And are you able to drive, able to think big, able to dive deep in delivering your result? And as you're doing all of that, you're going to earn trust, right? So it is great. I, for one, is a big fan of the Amazon Leadership Principle, and I'm a huge fan of the Bar Raiser program. Bless them. And they're doing it out of the heart. I know that I have so many messages from you guys about the BR. But the biggest tip I can give all of you guys is whatever the recruiter tells you, it's cool, it's great. You need to make sure you keep your answer within 1 minute or less. If you don't know how to do that, you should take advantage of all of my free webinar, and that's exactly what I'll be going through tomorrow. The second thing is you need to have your story. When you have your story, it's very easy to frame around the LPs, okay? It's simple solution. Don't overcomplicate things. Don't think about, who am I interviewer, what type. No, it's irrelevant. Focus on you. You. It's all about you guys, okay? Are you still with me? If you're still with me, the 80 people who's watching right now, I have 39 thumbs up. I would like to see more thumbs up. Let me know if this is not making sense. If you're not liking what I'm sharing with you, drop your question, guys. Don't be shy. I can see a bunch of you in the background. Hi, Sandra. Sandra says, I made it to the second round of interview for a design engineer with logistic. I was told that there will be a second phone interview. Do you know if it's behavioral or technical? Let me tell you guys this. The way how organization work is you have a phone interview, and once you have answered the questions satisfying, which means you meet the foundation for the role, then you will be invited for a panel interview or an on-site interview, okay? In this case, anytime when you guys are invited for a second phone screen, that means something is missing on the first phone screen, okay? If I were you, Sandra, I would ask your recruiter, is there any feedback at all to help you make it through the second round, okay? People are not going to make you through 1 round, 2 round, 3 round just because no one has time. They wanted to make sure that you are truly the right fit before, not just saving Amazon's time, saving your time as well, okay? Will you spend an additional 4 to 5 hours with more interviewers? Okay? It is very, very normal. Make sure you know, I can't tell you if it's behavioral question or if it's design, because I don't know what was asked during your first phone screen. I can tell you, if you guys really think back of your interviewed and how you did, you can pretty much tell what portion of the interview you didn't do well. All right. So I would focus on that and ask yourself how you could be better on your second round. Phone screen generally, if you are an engineer, is focus on the tech over behavioral. There will be behavioral, but I would say more tech. Unless you catch an interviewer in a really good mood where they're just focusing on very light behavioral question, but that's uncommon. Let's see here. Wash hand, wash hand. ML, you're funny. Hey, Noryan. Hey, Rohit. Rohit says, when a recruiter says after the phone screen that she needs to speak with the hiring manager whether to slot me for an IC 6 or 7, does it mean that I could get a call from the hiring manager? Well, I think, first of all, you guys are reading too much with the recruiter message. If in doubt, you should always question your recruiter, okay? Because you and your recruiter should have a really tight relationship, all right? First, let me explain. The recruiter needs you to accept the offer so that he or she can keep their job. You need the recruiter. It's a win-win situation so that you can land a position with your dream company, Amazon. Okay, so you want to make sure you are taking the lead and I don't want to say own. It sounds pretty bad. You want to own you want to own your recruiter, guys. You want to leverage your recruiter and really help him or her, this individual, drive the process by keeping in touch with you constantly, okay? You want to build that trust right off the bat, although it is really the recruiter's job to do so. But, you know, not everyone is perfect. Sometimes they need a little push. So I would question, I would question the recruiter. I would say, does that mean that I will be, the hiring manager will be reaching out to you? If I'm you guys, if you do really well in the recruiter call or your initial phone screen, what level you're in, it's hard to say until you are out of the on-site interview. One person, one hiring manager or whomever you speak with cannot dictate what level you're in. I'm just being really honest, okay? You could have 10 years experience and you're not a level 6. Unless you have built something, launched something large scale globally and do it very quick and fast and do it like every 6 months or so, you're not a level 6. So even though you've got 10 years experience, it's really hard to say. So I would say take it as a grain of salt. Don't overwork yourself. Just let your interviewed prep speak for itself, okay? The better you know who you are, your branding, your credential, that is how you end up getting the right level. Your articulation and your communication really sets the tone of how you explain your story from a 6 to 7. I know this because I've had clients who landed an offer for 7. I've also had one who landed an offer as a 6, and they have been with another large organization for the last 13 years, and they don't meet the bar. It's because of the way they articulate their story. Do you guys see where I'm going? Okay? Excuse me. Don't focus on the wrong thing. Save your energy. Hi, Richa. Good to see you. RTB, and you're still coming back. You just keeps on coming back to me. I love it. I love seeing folks who landed a job offer and you came back just to say hi. Right now, I took 2 weeks and a few days for my background check to be completed. Right on. Welcome, Canada, London. Debjani? Hi, Debjani. I think this is your first time here. RTB, you're too kind. RTB says, I cannot emphasize enough. Please take every advice Holly says seriously and everything will fall into place. Thank you. That means a lot to me. Chicago in the house. Hi, Shippy. Rena says, I love the photo, by the way. If you guys want to know what a great LinkedIn profile photo looks like, check out Rena. It's perfect. Also, Juan, right here. This is also an excellent LinkedIn profile photo. Even this one as well, right here. That's an excellent LinkedIn profile. It just shows your personality, right? It's professionals, but yet natural. Noyan says, new from Egypt, leadership and development. Right on. Houston, Texas is in the house. Nice. East Coast, there's a lot of East Coast in here as well. Toronto and Calgary is here at the same time. Awesome. Holly, what should be the main focus for anyone joining Amazon for the first 2 to 4 weeks? That's a really good question, RTB. And I know that a couple of you guys already have your offer from Amazon. I would say, unlike a lot of this, great questions, by the way, RTB. Unlike a lot of the company that I have joined where the employers, my manager or my peers or onboarding buddy would say, hey, Holly, calm down. Calm down. You're moving too fast. Just learn how to walk the talk first. Learn the process. Learn the system. At Amazon, you don't really have that luxury to do so. Let me explain. First of all, Amazon launched the Kindle, the product, within three plus months, okay? From concept to production. That tells you how quickly it moved. I would say this is just me, okay? I would take the first week to make the effort to know exactly what I'm walking into. Sometimes you don't know until you start. Okay. And as you're meeting with the key player of who your stakeholders are that you support, who are your peers, just learn from those individuals that's been here much longer than you. I would take the first week to do nothing, but to really learn every single thing about the business that I support. You may think that, you could do all of that in one day, but the scope is really large. Okay. And find out who your key partner is, even international, because there's no such thing as domestic for Amazon. So I would really take the first week to learn all of that. In your first month, you should have already an idea if you need to put a proposal together. And generally within the first month, I would have a paper together. That's just me. Okay. I have, when I first walked into Kindle, my first project, 8 years ago, 8 years ago at Kindle, when I first joined as a senior hardware recruiter for them, within my first week, I got my first offer. Okay, I'm just giving you guys an example. Within the first day, I was going so fast. That's why Amazon only hire individual to know that you can produce at a very high speed. That's an example. Even at Alexa, when I came in, even within the first week, that I've joined, I had no clue what I was doing, because every time when you move org, it's so different. You have new partners, new scope, so on and so forth. When I had to present to an executive team, I had no clue how to even put a report together, and I had to quickly taught myself how to do all of that quickly, because the clock is ticking, right? That's what I'm trying to tell you, RTB, and everyone who's watching. When you land a gig at Amazon, it is real. I loved it. By the way, I loved it. I'm highly motivated. And Amazon is a great fit for highly ambitious and motivated people. And if you haven't seen my Why Amazon video, it was very authentic, right? If you are thinking about faking it or relying on someone to tell you what to do, or relying on your manager's going to have an onboarding documentation for you. But if you're just relying on that and you don't think big and what more can you do to move quicker, then you're always going to falling behind. That's Amazon. It's not a bad thing. It works for Amazon, just like any other employer, right? It may not be a good fit for certain people. It may be a great experience for other individuals, okay? So that is exactly what you're getting yourself into. It's not a bad thing, but because of that, it helps you grow a lot faster. I like it. Johnson says, I received an offer from Amazon as an L5 manager. Yay! Congratulations! Thank you for your tips and guidance. Your videos helped a lot. Thank you so much for showing up, Johnson. If you have any tips of the percentage of behavioral questions versus technical questions, please do share in the comment below. Thank you so much for dropping by and sharing that feedback. Hi, Gregory. Amit says, I made it to the Louvre for a solution architect. I wasn't picked by the team I applied for, but the recruiter forwarded me to another team that I have only that I have one interviewed only. Do you know how this interview goes? Well, I can't tell you that because I'm not the recruiter and I don't know your background. But generally, if a recruiter is willing to move you to a different team, that means there's something in your credential that's a better fit. Okay. The hiring bar, team over team, is the same thing, but one team may not require so much as far as your background versus another. And I think it has a lot to do with what phase of the product that team A is, depending on team 2. Okay? It's not a bad thing. The good thing is that you're still in the process with Amazon. Rena says, I'm interviewing for an L6 senior EHS. Basically, it's a site manager role. Robotic center. That's so much fun. Let me know how that goes, Rena. I love this screen name. Full stack friend. Well, hello, full stack friend. Got a final round interview at Amazon. Front-end developer coming up next week. Glad to have discovered this channel. Awesome. Hey, Shush. Dana, welcome. Dana from California. I will be interviewing for an area manager position at Amazon, waiting for the writing test or a math test for this. Is there a writing or math test? It depends. I have heard from my customers for area or ops manager, there are math tests. If you think of it this way, your environment is logistic and you're most likely coming from, for the most part, coming from with industry experience, of course, from another warehouse or fulfillment. So you will be doing a lot of estimations, a lot of number crunching in a sense of using simplified math on spreadsheet. I'm not talking about, doing manually calculating matrix and data. I'm talking about using like Excel, for instance. Do you truly know how to do all of that stuff? Okay. So again, there's a lot of this on Glassdoor. I know because I've actually shared a lot of those information for my customers. I would encourage you guys to use Glassdoor. I love it. It's my favorite tool that really helped me leverage the tools to coach my customers. Okay. As far as a writing test, if you are a people manager, there will be a writing example. But again, guys, don't waste your effort. Don't think about things that haven't happened yet. One step at a time. Sush says, I'm attending a phone interview in 15 days. Could you please let me know how to prepare? Well, without really knowing what you're interviewing for, I would say, again, you have to know your background very well, and you need to be able to validate why you would be a good fit, because your phone screen is for I'm assuming your phone screen with the hiring manager or somebody from the business team. Really want to make sure if you meet the requirement at least 80% of the time before they invite you for a full loop. Okay? Also, all of you guys who's watching, you want to rewatch my previous stream, which is called Amazon Interview Tips with hyperlink on it. A lot of you guys are asking me how to prepare for phone screen. It's all over it. Area managers, ops managers, basically any kind of managers. There's a lot of previous streams that are on there. So take a look at those material as well, okay? That's how a lot of you guys end up with a job offer, by watching my previous live stream. Hey, Ranjan. Ranjan have an offer today. Yay! Thank you so much, Ranjan, for taking the time and stopping by. Noyan is applying for a learning associate post. Is there a quick tips to follow? There's no such thing as quick tips, guys. No such thing of any interview with quick tips. If you guys really just need to know what makes you stood out with all the other applicants who are applying for the same job, okay? Look at the job descriptions. Look at the preferred qualification and exactly what you will be doing, and ask yourself, what are your relevant experience? That's the best, most bonus tip I can give all of you guys, okay? And if you're really struggling to come up with your story, you should really show up to my Wednesday's webinar, all right? And again, the link is on my LinkedIn profile. Hey, Diana, I see colleagues with L5 or L7. What level is a senior program manager? A senior program manager is an L6. A 7 is a principal program manager if you're an IC. If you're people manager, it would be a senior manager for program manager. Okay? Again, with the leveling, it's all your performance and how well you guys do in the entire interview process. You're welcome, Toby. Grateful for the resource. Thank you. I'm interviewing for program manager at Amazon for ACES. There's a lot of ACES interviewing. Would I require to take any type of assessments? Well, I would encourage you to dive deep a little bit. Before you guys ask me your questions, I want you all to do a quick search on Google and see what you can come up with before you drop your questions on here. Because everything that I'm sharing with you guys, it's not private or confidential at Amazon. Everything I'm sharing with you is truly that I can find on the public website. So I don't want to share data or things about any employer that's confidential at all. Okay. So at the same time, as I'm trying to help my audience, I'm also very protective of the organization. I know that many of you asked me about the salary ranges, the one who landed a job offer. Again, there's things I could share, things I can't share. What I can coach you around is you just have to know what the market rate, what your self-worth is, and what would it take for you to accept the offer. Okay? Fashion 40 says, is it normal for Amazon to schedule the final panel interview a month ahead of the time, since a lot could happen in between? Well, it depends. It depends on the location. It depends on availability. It is very normal. And because it's virtual right now still, I'm assuming that a lot of the interviewers are busy interviewing. And you guys have to understand, especially for hiring managers and people who are interview calibrated or interview ready, they're not just interviewing you. They're interviewing for everybody applying for the same position. They're also helping their peers. Okay? In general, the interviewers have at least 3 to even 8 interviews a week. So that's a lot for them. If you have questions, I would say ask your recruiter and just really maintain your relationship with them. I don't want to say they could forget about their candidates, but it does happen. Okay? Especially a month time frame, it's a lot. Debjani, hi Debhani. Please help me understand, how should I answer the questions without having any data to deliver the result? Well, if you don't have any data, I don't want to give you the answer. I want to challenge you to think big here, okay? If you don't have the answer to a question, let me ask you this. Where would you go to find the answer? Okay? Where else can you go? Who could you ask to find the answer if you don't have the data? What would you do? Okay? My job as a coach is to not give it to you, give you the exact answer, so you could use my word for the interviewer. If you do that, you're going to fail. You will bomb the interview so hard because you can't back up your story. Okay? So rather than for me to say, here's XYZ, I want to challenge you to think really hard and deep here. What could you do? Give me 3 scenarios, okay? And you guys, if you're listening, put it on the bottom. What do you guys do and how would you gather data with limited or zero information? Put it on the bottom. If you show up tomorrow on my webinar, that's exactly what we'll be talking about as well. The tornado. I applied for a learning associate's job. Phone interview in 5 days. Any advice? Go check out my previous stream as well on phone screen, and that's everything that I've just mentioned for all of the people who's prepping for a phone screen. Okay? You're welcome, Ed. Hi, Umij. How are you? Hi, Carla. Well, Carla and everyone else, I have been streaming for the last 3 months every Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with my son or without my son. But if I'm playing music, that means I have more time to prep. Okay? Really appreciate the star. Adula, how are you? Love seeing you. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. I love getting thumbs up. It's a big motivation for me. It's also, again, allowing YouTube to know that I have someone that's actually watching, that actually like my content. Let me tell you guys a little secret. The YouTube algorithm actually acknowledge thumbs up. Is really powerful, okay? I know that 87 of you guys are watching right now, and I'm only getting 47 thumbs up. What is going on, guys? Where are all my thumbs up? I need more. Hello, Alex. Thanks, Mark. Hey, Sin. Hi, Patrick. Hey, GK. Oh my God, no, my Siri. Sorry, guys, hang on one second. My Siri is going crazy right now, trying to record my live. Payanko. Hi, Payanko. Payanko received an offer from Amazon last week. Yay! By the way, guys, I know we're connected on LinkedIn, but because of your fancy nickname on YouTube, which is fine, you don't need to use your real name at all. But thank you so much for taking the time and coming here just to share with the community. I know that when you guys hear other folks landing job offer at Amazon, it motivates you. So this is very common, guys. Generally, I have at least 5 people every single week who comes in to tell the community that the process works if you just listen and do the work that I already laid it out for you, okay? Down to what type of questions to ask the interviewer, the top behavioral questions, all of it. Okay? You don't even have to pay for my service. Everything is in the content. You just have to do them. Okay? Unless you want to, I have several different communities to help you as well. All right? Thank you so much, Poyanko. Hey, Dasi. Dasi says, I am advancing for a loop for Amazon Ring L&D. Well, there's a lot of learning and development. Right on. My recruiter in the loop email is not the recruiter whom I've been working with. Should I ask for feedback? No, it's fine. Because sometimes you could be applying for a role with a recruiter, and if you are moving to a different project, each recruiter is responsible for a certain client group. Okay? That's probably why you are seeing the change. Hey, as long as you're still interviewing for Amazon and still interviewing for a position that you're passionate about, that's more to it. Okay? I mean, you could have other people reaching out to you. As long as you're still in the process, it's a great thing. Hey guys, I feel like I'm talking really loud right now. Let me know if the audio is still okay for everybody. Johnette. Hi, Johnette. Alfredo. Alex, interviewing for a construction manager at Amazon. Any particular tip for this team? I know nothing about the construction team. What I do know is one of my clients in the coaching program have done really well. But and whether you're in construction, marketing, finance, or an engineer, you really need to know the LPs, and you really need to be able to answer your leadership principle. I can't talk right now. Your behavioral questions very well, right? For example, if I were to say, tell me about the most innovative project that you've done as a construction manager, boom, it should come right off, okay? That is an actual question for you and for everyone else on here. Those are very basic questions, okay? And you need to be able to know how to use data to tell the story, okay? Frugality is probably going to be in the question as well because you're a construction manager. There's a lot of cost that's involved, okay? Tell me a time where you're able to save the organization or project fundings with limited amount of dollars approved. How would you go about in doing so? Okay, so you have to be ready for all of that, especially in the construction area. Hello, Yolanda. I know this is targeted for tech careers, but any advice for sales? Of course, absolutely not. This is my passion is really for tech, because when it comes to tech, I can speak hardware, software, embedded, LD, 4G, name it. Design, I can speak all kinds of tech. That's also because I actually went to school and got a computer science degree and got a networking degree. So I'm very techy, I should say tech savvy. But, I've had clients that are at Amazon right now as a biz dev, as a senior architect for account management for AWS. So I do help a lot of clients, but I help clients focusing on FAANG company, which is Amazon, Google, Facebook, okay? Apple even, okay? So again, at the end of the day, you need to know how to answer those behavioral questions. Again, guys, I'll repeat myself one more time. It doesn't matter what position you're interviewing for. You need to learn how to answer those behavioral questions very, very well. And if you are truly struggling with creating your story, check out my webinar tomorrow. I believe it's at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay? It is not on YouTube. It is invite only. So look for a webinar link where you have to sign up for it. You can find it on my LinkedIn and also hallsley.com. It is the first thing. It is my webinar. Okay? And no, it's not a weekly thing. I have a little time. I just have so many people pinging me on LinkedIn, and I wanted to pause and be able to give back to the community. And just to let everyone know, 90% of my customers have been affected by the pandemic. Okay? And within 3 weeks to a month top, I would say 90% of them are out in the workforce working for Amazon or waiting for their start date. True story. All right? So I know this stuff works. You just have to follow it. I don't care what anyone says. The STAR methods work, but you have to use my simplified style. It's not just STAR, but be simplistic. Okay? Everyone has their own style. Junie says, I got my offer from Amazon, but was offered L5 instead of L6. Well, first, congratulations that you got an offer. Yay! Can we please congratulate Junit? Thanks for your recommendation and your video. What is your guidance on how to manage salary expectation? That's an excellent answer. Well, first, Junit, you need to ask yourself, let me go ahead and remove you on here because with first and last name, I typically don't want to leave them on for too long. You need to ask yourself, what are you currently making and what do you want to make for your next career move? Okay. You should also do a little homework on what the market rate is from the state and the city where you're at. Okay. Because the salary expectation that I would give you for Seattle is different every single state. And lastly, ask the recruiter, are there any room to leverage and negotiate? And 100% of the time it is yes. Okay. Wink. Hi, Sharby. SDE2. Awesome. What kind of questions can I ask at the end of the interview? Well, you can download my template. It's in all of my video, guys. If you go to my video, let me fix the light really quick. It's bugging me. If you go into, there's link in the bottom of my video, and you can actually see my hallsley.com/freebie. At the very end, there is a template called questions to ask the interviewer. That's what I'm trying to encourage all of you guys. Prove to yourself, don't prove to me, prove to yourself that you want to get a job on Amazon by rewatching the previous stream and a lot of my material that's already there for you. Okay? I know your attention span is short, but guess what, guys? The interviewer is even shorter than yours, okay? So you got to show up for yourself that way, and that's the best coaching moment I can give you. Hi, Dean. Dean says, salary expectation, overselling yourself, underselling yourself. You also need to watch the last two of my stream. I talk about salary expectation in those two streams for about 10 minutes, okay? When you talk about salary expectation, you're not selling yourself. You're just basically painting what the market rate is, where you're at, what would it take for you to accept the operation, for you to accept the offer, okay? You're not under or overselling. You basically have to say, what is your self-worth? And if you don't have that answer, it's pretty difficult to negotiate, okay? Unfortunately, I don't offer hourly coaching anymore because I don't have any bandwidth. I used to for salary expectation. But if you have been part of my Patreon community, that's also another topic that we talked about. SOA POC, welcome back. Phone interview for PM technical. I give some figure for customer less than 250, which I won because of product feature. Can I increase this number of customers in my loop interviewed? Yes, of course. You're welcome, Sinem. Aubrey, I got the position. I wanted with Amazon. Oh, you started last Monday. Yay! Hang on. Yay! I think that was the 5th person that showed up to tell me that they just landed a job. Thank you so much for sharing that. You guys have no idea. You're not only motivating my YouTube community of Everybody, literally every one of you guys who's interviewing at Amazon. I didn't even advertise Amazon. You guys just pretty much came to me and I love it. Thank you so much. But you're motivating me and allowing me to know that whatever that I am doing and the content that I have been creating works. So for that, thank you so much. It's a huge motivation for all of us. Passive grant. I have an interview with Amazon to work as a team lead operation. Is there any suggestion that you can share with me success in the interview or everything that I just said and all the other live stream that I've done? Okay. Hi, Patrick. 59 thumbs up. All right. But guys, there's about 100 of you at one point. Where are the other thumbs up? 20% of you who's watching my live stream right now have not given me a thumbs up. What's going on? Tell me what's up. Why are you not giving me a thumbs up? Okay. What's missing? If I have not answered your questions, don't sit back. Don't hold back, guys. Drop it right here. I will be on for another half an hour and then I have to get going. Okay. SOA says written content I'm going to submit, which is your writing. It sounds like you're writing examples. Whether the expectations should I know at the end, wondering what they ask in depth or technical stack. Well, that's kind of hard. It's really depending on your level and what you have done. It's everything, right? Again, if you part of my community as well, we actually review your Amazon writing exercise. That's actually on there as well. It's everything is a one-stop shop. If you're interested, let me know and I'll leave everything in the link later on. Okay. I don't want to give you advice just to give you advice out of nowhere and BS my way through without diving deep and knowing more about your background. And that wouldn't be fair. Okay. Hi, Isel. I applied for learning associate job post. My phone interviews in 5 days. Know yourself really well. And the entire stream is around passing your interview, guys. Whether your phone screen or on-site, this is what the entire stream is about. Stephanie says, is it common to have a first interview with a member of a future as a future of the team and not the recruiter? Absolutely. That's even better. That means that your credential is amazing and they want to cut off the recruiter and go straight to the hiring team. It's a great thing. Good job. Abbas is grateful for your insight. Interviewing for senior PM, had a phone interview waiting on next step. Keep me posted, Abbas. Bar Racer can be also from the same team which I'm joining. You need to watch my Bar Racer video. Again, you guys need to rewatch a lot of them. You don't need to waste your time. It is a 2-hour stream, but again, it's in hyperlink. So if you go in there, you hit Control F to find and put the word Bar Raiser. There's a whole bunch of tips around that. Okay? Mark, I love the dancing. It says when they ask questions, they're looking at all LP or they're looking for certain LP. That's a great question, Ed. They're looking for their assigned competency or their assigned LP. But again, I'm going to repeat myself for the 100th time. If you truly have a story, you would meet 80% of the leadership principle. Okay? Go watch my previous stream because I've actually walked you guys through examples from personal experience and also walk through from experiences for your role specifically. I've actually done that with a number of my stream and also listing out the questions and answer for you. Okay? For you guys. Hi, Liliana from Mexico. Welcome. You've got what? Did you say you got an offer? Hang on. I just wanted to thank you for all your support and guidelines. I've got an offer and I'm really excited. Yay! Thank you so much for sharing that with us. You just made my day. Well, you guys made my day already, but you just made my day even more. Right on. Congratulations. June says, I have a questions around mock interview. Is that on Sunday or Monday? When I booked it, it says it was on Monday from 8 to 10. Well, I think it's depending on where you are. I'm doing a one-time mock interview only. That is for everyone who's following me on my YouTube and my business page. That is, again, invite only, and it's a very, very small fee because, as you can see, I'm blocking 2 hours of my time to dive deep into your very specific role and answer your specific question to teach you guys how to show up as perfect as possible. It is Sunday in Pacific Standard, okay? Sunday in Pacific Standard Time. If yours is showing Monday, that's probably because you are in, you're probably in EMEA or not in the US. So the time frame should reflect on your time zone and your continent, wherever you're at, okay? Because all the information on there is for that specific timestamp. It is pre-scheduled. You're so funny, Junit. Thank you for the thumbs up, Ed. Thank you, Aliand. Carolina. I had a voice video with a global brand manager plus another person from Customer Insight. It was successful. I have a phone interview with the hiring manager. What might I expect? You could expect anything. Your expectation is to pass the interview, be able to answer all of the behavioral question. Everything that I've everything that I've listed on my Amazon Leadership Principle playlist, the 8 video that I put out, all the questions on there, most likely they will be asked, okay? If you don't know what I'm talking about, the playlist is called Leadership Principle. Toby, I love it. Wash hand, wash hand, wash hand. Yay! Nice. June says, what is the format of the mock interview? For anyone who's ever are in any of my coaching services, you guys know that I don't leave until everybody's question is answered. Generally, within 2 hours, we get a lot done because I like to go fast. I like to dive deep. I like to get right into the point. Okay. So you should always come prepared. Don't spend your time, because I'm trying to be as effective as I can. You will get the best out of me if you show up prepared, like this, for example, right? Don't just ask me what should I expect for a technical phone interview. Ask me very specific question. Like someone asked me about, tell me a time how I could make short-term decision for long-term gain, like that. Okay. So be very, very specific, because how you show up in my mock interview or my coaching is how you show up to interview. And I am going to be 100% raw to you. And my customer who is looking at me right now know, and I will stop you. I will tell you that you don't make it through if you can't answer questions. Okay. So I wouldn't worry about who would go first and next. Obviously, if you show up first, you will go first. Okay. The bottom line is, everyone will receive the equal amount of love. Why group coaching? Because it works. It's collaboration, right? Why wouldn't you want to see how other people answer the same question? Why wouldn't you? Because it doesn't matter if you're an engineer or in finance. At the end of the day, if I were to ask you to tell me a time where you have failed or the biggest mistake in your career, listen and pay attention to my coaching strategies. Because every single person who worked with me directly, they land a job offer, okay? My lowest rate right now is 90%. And this is true story. And for my member who's been in my coaching community, they know and they can validate that as well. It works, okay? So I want to teach you guys how to really be confident in showing up with your story. Kimberly, it was 60 minutes, went well, prepare, eliminated with no reason. What do you mean by that? I'm confused with your question. You welcome F hash. Fashion 40 says, how could I find an article from David Anderson about the Amazon LP? Could you please let me know again where it is, guys? All of the link of everything that could help you pass your Amazon job interview is on all of my video. I make it so easy for you. I don't want you guys to sit still and have me feed you information one at a time. I know this is very non-traditional of a career coach to speak to you this way, But the reason why certain audience came to me is because you love how authentic I am. Okay. If you just look on my video and if you look at the description, because there's description on every single video, there are links there. So before even asking me where things are, I want you to do yourself a favor. Again, remember this, everybody. If you're not showing up for yourself and do the due diligence, do the research for every single thing, you are not going to make it through any interview, Amazon or not. Okay? I'm not yelling at you. I'm just probing you to be prepared. Every single link, every single thing I talk about is on every single one of my Amazon interview tip or Amazon video. And there's quite a few of them. There's about 30 of those, okay? You can't miss it. In fact, there's a playlist for every single one. I talked a lot about David Anderson because I actually remember him during my time at Amazon being one of the stronger bar raiser, okay? Please do not reach out to the man. The man is very, very busy. He is a GM. He's been there for a very long time. I, of course, reach out to him and ask for his permission before sharing his article because I find it most valuable. And why wouldn't I? My job is to look at resources and share with my audience to make sure that you guys land a job. Okay? So do not ask questions before doing your homework because a lot of you guys are asking questions that's already there for you. Okay? It's there. So do that, and you got to ask yourself how you're showing up and being prepared for your interview. Well, yeah, I have my final interview for security architect with Amazon this Friday. I've been preparing hard for it. Any final step? It sounds like you're working really hard to prepare for your interview. If you have at least 10 different stories, you guys are pretty much ready to go. Okay? Good job, William. Eon001, welcome back. How long have let me just do this so you guys can see it. How long have the 14 leadership been a thing? I think it's been a thing for a really long time, for as long as I worked with them, which is about 8 years ago. So I want to say at the very earlier time of Amazon, every company has their mission statement, right? Customer obsession, moving fast. So I would assume that probably the first earlier on couple years of Amazon, I know that customer obsession is probably one of the very first. Okay. As a DC technician 4 years ago, it never came up once. That's actually very odd. It could be the interviewer. You know, sometimes when you catch an interviewer in a very good mood, they don't want to follow, or the interviewer could be interviewing so many different candidates where they're tired of saying, tell me about a time, or they don't want to say, give me an example how you earn trust, right? They just wanted to have a casual conversation, but trust me, believe me, even though they're not asking you a specific leadership principle, they are evaluating you for those leadership principles without saying the words. Hi, Rohit. Hey, Juan. Yes, Juan, that is correct. Make sure you put at least 3 examples for each leadership principle. You don't have to have 28 story, guys. Like I said, if you have 10 story, if your 10 story meets at least 50% of the LPs, right there, you're going to have at least 3 examples for each, okay? And if it's your story coming from the heart, you'll be able to shuffle things around very well. Hi, Jose. We just talked on LinkedIn. I want to thank you because watching your live stream, I was able to ace all of my interview with Amazon and receive a job offer. Yay! Thank you so much, Jose. I forgot my bun. Yay! Great work. Hard work, well deserved. By the way, if you guys could share with the audience, what is the number 1 tip to help you create your story down here? That would be awesome. And I'm going to pick on someone that I haven't answered yet. Shreya's, I got an interview scheduled for an L6 SDEII role. It's mainly with system design. I work on it, but not a skills senior, as it's just the first part of the project lifecycle. Should I go with that? Well, I can't say this is not a yes or a no answer, Shreya's. If you're a level 6 to meet the level 6 bar, which means they are giving you very minimal to no hint. You should be able to know how to code very well, not just design is one part, but code very well, be able to solve problem using your data structure or algorithm very well, right? Because you're level 6. A level 6 at Amazon is a principal or higher level like a Microsoft or even like a Facebook or a Google, okay? Because the scope, let me explain myself, because the scope is a lot larger because you actually take ownership of the entire project from the beginning to the end, build it, launch it, and then watch it go live in 2 weeks. So your ability to articulate with your designs and your object-oriented design and analysis, and also knowing how to break things to fix it on your architecture is huge. You're not just doing everything from scratch. What if you have to go in and make enhancement? Would you be able to do that? At a level 6, you're also a mentor for your mentees, right? Someone that's more junior. And most likely after being at Amazon for about 6 months or a year or so, you will take some people under your wing as well. And also at level 6, you're being seen as a leader, okay? So I would use example that you're most comfortable, that you know how to solve the problem. So this is not a yes or no answer that I could give you. Okay? Bonyu says, I got an email for an online assessment. Any specific presentation needed? When you say online assessment, I'm not sure what you mean, Benu. Are you talking about a coding test? Or are you talking about whiteboarding on something? If you could be more specific. Hi, Vanessa. For preparing for my final interview with Amazon for risk manager position, I'm struggling with preparing on story that ties with the position. So please do show up to my webinar tomorrow, okay? Because this can go on for a while. And if you listen to everything that I just talked about with story, all of that. The same thing with Hanish, interviewing tip for data center, same thing. Rewatch this whole stream. Patrick, I will be interviewing for a solution architect. I've recently helped a couple SA that landed an offer with Amazon. I'm looking for guidance that can help me ace the phone interview based on your Amazon experience. And you should absolutely show up to my, not just my webinar, but a lot of the free resources that's already there. And I talked about solution architect a lot because there's a lot of you guys interviewing for AWS, okay? Again, previous stream. Hi, Dean. Dean says, I'm a transitioning veteran and made it through the interview process and now waiting an offer. Wow. Your content allowed me to be successful without using a veteran intern program. Yay! Congratulations. If you guys pay attention to everyone who came in here that mentioned that they have a job offer, pay attention to their tone, okay? There's a lot of work that you have to prep for yourself, a lot. And if I were to think back, a lot of them, most of them have watched every single one of my video, not that you have to, but they're so obsessed in passing the interview that they will do whatever it takes to get the job, okay? So you guys really have to have that due diligence for yourself and really do everything you possibly could, okay? That's coming from the heart. Luis, for TPM, there's a lot of TPM tips in the previous stream as well as lead operations, passive grant. Is there any suggestion that you can share with me, please, to succeed the interview? Passive grant, number one, you are spamming and bombarding by repeating yourself 5 times. Please stop that. I will eventually get to you. If you want me to answer your questions right away, you can always super chat because it does show up on my screen that I can click on your questions right away. But when you repeat yourself 6 times, it's spamming everyone who's in here. Please do not do that, okay? If you guys are listening to everything that I have said, that's exactly what the 6 individual who landed a job offer just by doing so, okay? Silver the Sketch Hog. Hire me, I'll shoot the tacos. That's funny. That's actually really funny. By the way, guys, if you guys haven't already, make sure you subscribe for more content. All right. Let's go. I wanted to see. I'm scrolling down. Hey, Anlu. Diana, thanks for the thumbs up. I wanted to pick on someone new that I haven't invested any time and give him some love. Isabella, you are next. I'm preparing for an on-site. Here you go. I'm preparing for an on-site for an SDE1. Any tips for new grad preparing ownership example? I would say because you're a new grad, it has to do with your. Hang on for a second. My thing disappeared. Oh, here you go. My overlay disappeared. It has to do with your academic. If you don't have the experience, you just have to provide examples that's relevant to the technical environment or the environment of the questions. Okay, you can absolutely work around that. I've recently helped someone who applied for Amazon, Google, and Facebook 3 times and did not land the job. And we spent a couple hours together in my coaching program. And that individual landed a job with Amazon and another employer. And all of her experience are all academic related. I was so blown away, and I kind of knew she got the job. How? Listen very carefully, okay? She walked me through an experience where she owned a project by creating a team to work on her thesis in how she could put an automation together to monitor data coming in and out for a medical device. Something along that route, okay? You don't have to go that drastic. So what did you do, even academia, you, not your group, not your team, what was your responsibility in how you can leverage the material, how you form your team? And did you assign the task, by the way, to complete an academia project? Is it related to artificial intelligence or machine learning? If you do, throw those buzzwords in there. Okay, so if that's what I mean, you need to understand the position you're interviewing for and that environment that you don't have the industry experience. That's fine, but you have to look at what the environment is calling for and provide your answer around that. Good luck with that. Hi, Erica. VJ, hello. What's your live schedule every week? Well, thank you for asking. It's very consistent, VJ. I'm here 12:30 p.m. every single Tuesday for the remainder of this year. Okay, every Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification, if you hit reminder on, whatever time zone you see is catered towards whatever country and geography you're in. Okay. Pacific Standard Time every Tuesday. Now I'm having a new stream for level 6 plus because for that audience it's Friday morning leadership conversation with Holly. My first stream was last Friday at 8:30 a.m. I may change that to 8 a.m. The morning is easier for me because I am a single mom. I do have a young one that is sleeping, and I wanted to have more time with him during the day. As he says so, he kept on telling me to stop working. So I do homeschool him in a lot of the time as well, but I wanted to cater to my audience at the same time. So it will start very early, and I'm trying to give back to the international audience that are very patient, like you guys are here from Spain, from London, from Berlin, from Italy. I don't want you guys to come in so late. So I wanted to meet those audience halfway, and I want to have a second stream for them. Okay, so when you're asking me questions on the Friday stream, please don't ask me how do I prep on my phone interview. That's what the Tuesday session is for, and I have already answered a lot of those in the previous stream. I made it so pretty for you guys. You just have to look at my hyperlink. Okay, look forward to seeing you again, DJ. Hi, Sin. Hi, Yolanda. Thank you for this platform. I know this is targeted for tech career, but any advice for sales op, it's for everyone. Everyone will have love. Hi, Kwawa. Hello, hello. Hi, Alfredo. Any advice for QAE, Quality Assurance Engineer? There's a lot of tips in the previous stream. You may want to check that out, okay? Hi, Lindsay. Lindsay says, I will have virtual on-site this Thursday. Fingers crossed for you, Lindsay. But two of my interviewers I have already talked to for two phone screens. Should I prepare a different story for them? I absolutely would, to not use the same story. You could use the same story if it has to do with different scenario of the questions or different part of the leadership principle, but do not give them the exact same answer. Okay? It just sounds like you don't have enough experience when you do so. Thank you for the hand clap. Come on, guys. 66 thumbs up. Come on, 66 out of the 90-something people who was here. I am not asking so much. I just wanted you to drop your questions and don't be shy about it. And then give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this stream. All right? Red Riding Hood, welcome back. Chris Pez, I have an interview coming soon for PA position at Amazon. Good luck to all of you. I'm just going to assume that all of you guys, here's how it works, guys. Every single person who reached out to me in all of my platform already have an interview with Amazon. Every single person who joined my coaching community already have an interview schedule. So it's pretty awesome that I am attracting the right audience. Hashim91, any tips for data center technician? There are some stuff on Glassdoor regarding data center technician, so go check that out, okay? Everything we talk about here, it's for all position and all level, all right? And if you wanted to dive deeper with me, I have a lot of different resources to guide you where you can connect with me. Erica, do you know what the HR structure looks like for HR VP? I'm so funny that you asked. Last 2 weeks, there are 6 HR VP who landed a position. Go look at the previous stream, okay? I actually give you examples. I walk you through exactly how you should present yourself. Who are your customers? How do you leverage your answer and your partnership with the recruiting team? And basically, how do you deliver results at Amazon? So I went through a lot of different examples. You just got to go check out the stream. And the reason why I'm saying that for all of you guys, because I do have recurrent audience that shows up every single week. Thank you, by the way, guys. I just don't want them to hear the same thing over and over again. That's why I have invested time to put in the hyperlink. After all of this, guys, I'm going back to rewatch a 2-hour stream to type up your questions and link it to my answer. So all you have to do is click on the link. That's how simple I'm making it for you guys. Hi, Eileen. Or Alan, sorry, Alan. If you fail an interview, usually, especially for an SDE2, I'm going to assume that it's a technical part. It's going to be at least a year. And if you are on the technical, especially on the technical side, you need to be able to, if you are working right now, to create or get involved in a project where you're coding at a higher scale or higher level so that you can re-interview and pass your interview with Amazon. If you are staying in the same position, the same job or whatnot, and the recruiter sees your resume a year later or 2 years later, you're applying for the same role, they will pass you because you haven't grown from the main reason why you weren't, where you didn't meet the bar. Okay? Austin says, last week I received an offer. Wow, another person. This is like the 7th, 8th. Last week I received an offer from Amazon thanks to you. It is for financial analyst intern position. Could you give me some advice that I can get a full-time offer after 6 months? That is, when you come in, you have to really demonstrate your bias for action, okay? You need to be able to build great relationship. Don't kiss ass, build relationship. Okay, that is 2 different things, meaning show that you're eager to learn and be curious, ask questions of people who are more senior than you, build those relationships. Don't just go to lunch. By the way, folks at Amazon are so busy, they barely have time to even grab coffee, okay? So try to get involved in project and allow your peers to get to know you, that you're really eager and hungry to go full time, versus asking for a job. Don't ask. It's all about the action. That's the best thing I can coach you guys. Myself, myself as well. You don't see me coming up here and say, hey, by the way, I'm the best person that can give you everything you need to ace all your Amazon job, because every week there's at least 8 now or 10 people who show up and they ace their job. So rather than doing all of that, I'm basically just taking my time to show you every single thing that I know works for you to follow. Okay. So if you want to land a full-time job, or you want to keep your job, you don't even have to be an intern, okay? If you want it to last and survive Amazon, you have to be very, very consistent in learning and taking on larger scope project where you can scale. You want your manager and your peers, cross-functional team folks, to know what you're able to do. That is the only way for you to get hired. Amazon doesn't do well. Deferring back to my why Amazon video, it is not a place where you get in and you fake it. You will fail, because when you're in a meeting where your job is to present your plan and you come in there have nothing to say, you're done. Okay. If you have something to say and it's not good enough, and your peers and everyone around you starting to question you and you can't answer, it doesn't look good. Okay. That's just any level. It's not just intern, getting a job as an intern. Hi, David. Again, I'm picking on new folks. Hi, Aaron. Aaron with 1A. Your videos are helping immensely to find the right path towards preparation. However, what if I do not have a large scale example for professional stories? If you don't have a large scale, you just don't have the experience, I would encourage you to apply elsewhere. 1, practice interviewing. 2, gain the experience before applying to Amazon again. That way you're not applying. I mean, just applying for the same thing that you're not qualified, it's not going to land your job. Okay, I know that could come off harsh, but that is the truth. All right, and I don't know if your experience are not large scale enough, because a lot of my clients think that they're not, and then they are, and they end up getting a job there. Okay, so that's hard for me to make that assessment. Hi, Jeremy. Jeremy! Oh, is this my Jeremy? Jeremy says, I miss working with... Jeremy, thank you so much for coming here. Jeremy is one of my rock star recruiter at Facebook. Makes me look, you just put a big smile on my face. That caught me off guard. I love it. Hi, Juan. Any advice out of the situation behavioral question based on SMART method? 3 or 4. I think you just repeated your question. It was up there before. Hello, Dwayne. How are you? Patreon community is in the house. Jeremy says, does Amazon HR recognize military experience in place of degree for internal roles that do not have specific? Absolutely. Amazon is all for military. In fact, they have, I can't remember what it's called, and whole army. How ironic for me to make that statement. They have a whole recruiting team just focusing on military background. Okay, I think is phenomenal how the team is so organized into even have PR and different events to attract. Well, we can't do that anymore because we're in pandemic. But every summer, I know that they actually host on-site recruiting event and networking activities just to target military folks. Absolutely. And ironically, Amazon is probably one of the very few company that will hire you without a college degree as well, or relevant college degree. I know a lot of senior leader and even recruiters who doesn't have a college degree. Again, if you guys have, and I'm reading through rather than calling your name out, are really truly stuck with your story, show up tomorrow, 8 a.m., my live stream. The link is on halsey.com. Actually, let me just put this on here. Okay. It is halsey.com. If you go to my event, you'll see a webinar. Make sure you sign up. It is invite only. Okay. If you're not invited, you just don't see it, because as you can see, there's a lot of different questions. I want to reserve my time and help those who are serious of my time and who's actually showing up as well. Okay. Hi, Vanessa. I'm struggling with preparation of my story. Exactly what I said. You guys got to show up to the free webinar. all of you guys. Pallavi says, should I wait for a response to follow up with the recruiter applying for the position? You should never wait because it may not happen and they may forget about you. I would follow up after every 2 business days. Hi, Christy. Hi, Namdi. Thank you, Jose. Hi, Abdullah. I have an interview for a security PM vendor performance. Any tips to change my life? I appreciate your support. That's every single thing we're talking about, Abdullah. Okay, it's your story. I'm going to stop answering questions. I think I just reached the very end. I'm going to go ahead and close the chat right now. Guys, the number one reason for you to land a job at Amazon, the number one thing, you have to demonstrate that you're able to do the job. Even though you don't have the experience at 100%, you need to really show up owning it. I mean, be professional and polite about it, but you have to show up with your story and with the right attitude to say that I don't have that experience, but here's the experience I do have. And please do let me know if it's relevant. My goal is to land a position with example AWS because I feel like my background in, cloud infrastructure technology for the last ABC number of years with one of the largest customers, let's just say AT&T, for example, okay? My ability to execute and scale, being a subject matter expert for the migration process, I feel is relevant to the job experience. I would love for you to share more about this opportunity with me, okay? When you feel like you're stuck in a story and you don't know what to answer, push it back to the interviewer as well, okay? That is all. Hi, sweetie. That's all the time I have for you guys right now. Stay in touch. Every single event that is coming up will be on my business site. The link is below. Take care of yourself. Be safe. Wear a mask when you're outdoor or in an apartment building. I will see a lot of you guys in tomorrow's webinar and most of you guys in my Fridays coaching session, okay? Have a great one. Bye-bye for now.